Good. In accordance with Section 5 Local Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board designed for that purpose, and notice was transmitted to the official newspapers provided by resolution adopted January 7, 2023. Meeting notice has also been repeatedly posted on the borough website. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan is absent but excused. Councilwoman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Otteson.
Here.
Councilwoman Russo is absent but excused. Councilman Pagan is absent but excused. Councilwoman Harron.
Here.
Thank you. And Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I'll now open it up for public comment on agenda items only. That's public comment on agenda items only.
I'm also the chair of the Neighbors Committee.
Is that on?
I have a couple of questions with regard to what we.
Hold on one second. Kelly, is there an issue with that?
Can you just put it down a little bit towards you, Ronnie?
I think
Just so that we can hear you.
Yeah, thanks.
I have a couple of questions.
I don't think it's picking her up.
The building is going to be demolished on Station Avenue.
Is this thing on?
The signs
Yeah,
that are in
because
front of the building as well as across the street that had Welcome to Haddon Heights sign actually were purchased by Haddon Heights neighbors. For those of you who are new and don't know, the Haddon Heights Neighbors Committee has been together for 10 years, and prior to that, we were the Haddon Heights Centennial Committee. We purchased that picture in back of you actually, and also the Haddon Heights, Welcome to Haddon Heights signs, the three of them that are in town. I wanted to know what the process was going to be for removing those signs, whether you wanted to put them somewhere else, whether we were going to be responsible for removing them.
No, I think it would be probably in the interest of the borough, I'll speak, and if my council peers want to comment as well. I think we would probably relocate them, would be the best probably course of action. I think there's easily a few areas in town, and we could work easily with the committee to try to determine a great location for those signs.
I know that Mark Zito is the person who designed
Mr.
the
Zito?
signs with us, for us, but he did not do wrought iron work, so he would have to get somebody else
Okay.
outside of town to do wrought iron work someplace else. The other question I have is, the organization or company that's doing the redevelopment of that property, are they intending to add any security to that corner? The reason I'm asking is because Haddon Heights Neighbors, again, we are trying to raise money to do a security system from White Horse Pike all the way to 7th Avenue. We've already gotten prices for it, and if we don't have to get it for that corner, that's all the better for us.
You're talking in the form of like cameras and stuff.
Yeah, similar to what Haddonfield has, it would be like a zigzag kind of thing, so that everything will be covered, even down Wiggers Pike, down 7th Avenue. We originally, the optimal would be to have 8 cameras, we could start with 4, so that we could cover especially the lower area where we have so many problems with the towns. So that was just a question, is whether or not you anticipate there's going to be security there, so that we can move our cameras maybe down a little.
Yeah, no, I think it's, again, I would prefer again to any of my council peers, but I would think that it's a great idea. It's something, there's still a component left where we negotiate a redevelopment agreement with that party for the final, which would be a final contract with them.
Okay.
And it's something like that we could explore and include into the redevelopment agreement. So I appreciate that recommendation. I think it's a great recommendation.
Yes, thank you.
Any other public comment on anything on the agenda? Or caucus? All right, not seeing any, I'll close the public comment for the agenda items. We'll move into the caucus work session. First up is RFPs for 2024 professional services.
So I circulated to everyone on council the draft for all of the professional services positions proposed for 2024. Everything is listed, it's just something that we typically get advertised now so that we can receive them back in time. I believe over the last year, we included planning board. So we want to kind of step it up like a week earlier because they've requested to receive the proposals a little bit earlier. So we would get them back for the 6th if I advertise it as I have it drafted. I don't know if everybody had the opportunity to review it, but very similar to what, was done last year. The only thing that we've done is maybe add conflict positions for several of the professionals for a variety of reasons. But we've done that with the planning board engineer planner, out of, caution for various issues that come up in town that might be a conflict. So just, trying to get a feel if everyone is okay with me advertising and posting that on the website.
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm good too.
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Next will be finalization of 2024 council meeting dates.
And then, again, that's been, circulated. We've discussed it a couple of times. If everyone is okay with those dates, I would be able to then do the advertisement, which I'll do in December for the annual reorganization meeting. Again, we don't sort of formalize those dates until the reorg meeting, but just wanting to be sure that everybody is okay with the dates proposed.
They're similar to last year too, right?
Correct.
With the Wednesdays.
And we kept the one meeting in August. And we moved, from National Night Out this year to, I guess, a Wednesday. And the only other date, I believe it was a Monday due to League of Municipalities in the event anyone needs to attend that. Many of the borough employees have to attend, me being one of them. So that's why we proposed moving that date. And again, if everybody's okay with that, we can move forward there.
Looks good.
Okay.
Annual best practices inventory. Mike, do you want to speak?
Sure. So we submitted the best practices inventory for 2023. We scored 34 on it. Basically, anything over 29 is full aid. We basically will be entitled to our full state aid. So we exceeded that 29 number. So we're good. I think everybody should have gotten a copy of it. If anybody has a question or anything, I'd be more than happy to ask about any specific questions on it.
Thank you, Mike.
Councilmembers, any questions? No. And finally, employee appreciation luncheon.
So annually, everybody has in front of them an invitation to the Employee Appreciation Luncheon, in which we recognize our employees for 5, 10, and 15 years of service. The date we have scheduled this year is Friday, December 8th at Anthony's Restaurant, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. And hoping that, I know everybody's schedules are busy, but of course, mayor and council are invited. And we look forward to the event every year.
Yeah, it's a great event.
Okay?
We appreciate you putting this together.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Not seeing any other caucus items, we'll move from caucus to our regular meeting and we'll look for a motion for the approval of the minutes of the October 17th, 2023 business meeting. May I have a motion, please, for the October 17th minutes? Motion by Councilman Addison, may I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Harron. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstained?
Abstain.
Next, Borough Engineers Report, Steve.
Thank you very much. Steve Bacher, our engineer. We submitted our work report, only 2 items to update. Very pleased to inform the mayor and council that the DOT has awarded that night $268,146 to continue our efforts on St. Martin's as part of the fiscal year at JDOT trust funding. And then the second part is.
And that was on, what road again?
I'm sorry, St. Martin's.
St. Martin's.
Continuing our effort down to St. Martin's. And then on the current effort on St. Martin's, Contract was awarded on October 3rd from Landberg in the base bid of $218,487. Pre-construction meeting was held on October 24th, and we are going to have, weather permitting, the start of the paving on November 13th. I know it's more paving, more activity, but we want to keep ahead of the NJDOT grant process. So we're following all the guidelines. So look to see that project started, and then we'll continue another phase in the spring. And that's all I have.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving into unfinished business, we now have the public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2023-1537, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain property within the Borough of Haddon Heights that has been designated as an area in need of redevelopment. We have a motion to open the public hearing portion of ordinance 2023-1537.
Phillips, so moved.
Austin, second. And motion by Councilwoman Phillips to open the meeting, seconded by Councilman Addison. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? All right. The public hearing portion is now open for ordinance 2023-1537. If you'd like to make a comment regarding this ordinance, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. To discuss the resolution from. Any public comment on ordinance 2023-1537?
Can I just ask a question? Is the building really going to go to 7 feet to the White Pipe?
7 feet to the White Spike? No.
How close is it going to go to the White Pipe?
I think from curb line, so this came up in the planning board discussion, I think it was 20 feet from the curb. 19. So, yeah, and that's like site versus curb line. We just went off curb line because everybody can understand. I think that's easier than understanding sight line. So it was from the curb, 19 feet back is what the proposed permitted building. That's supposed to
And
be from.
did you discuss the parking spaces, or is that something that's planning board issue?
So the planning board, did not, it was like loosely talked about in the first meeting and then not really so much in the second meeting. But that would be, the ordinance permits one space for every, apartment with the exception of 3 bedrooms, I believe, which was 2 spaces was required. The parking though would be,
1.5.
thank you. And
And
then,
it's not anticipated to be in for
right.
bedroom.
Right, there's not, right. And then at the same time, it was, those parking spaces would be off-site, they did have to be within 500, correction, we changed that.
It was 500.
It's 500 feet of the building, and the property owner would be required to secure those.
And if they don't, they're going to have 19 bedrooms plus the two offices downstairs. That's my understanding from the first meeting, that they had 6 parking spaces.
They're physically there on that location, yes.
That doesn't seem to make sense.
But they're required, they have to provide proof of contract with lease agreements to provide parking spaces.
Lease agreements for how long?
In the ordinance, it was,
I want to say a minimum of
was it
3
3 years.
3 years.
But the challenge would be for any entity who owns a building, that what's the rent gonna be when you can't provide your tenants with parking after 3 years?
Well, that is of no significance. What the important part of it is, if they only have an agreement for 3 years, and then if they did it for next door, for example, and then they sold that building and the lease was now void or over, what's gonna happen to all those other cars that don't have 6 parking spots?
As soon as that's fine, move out, they'll have parking space.
We have overnight we have an overnight parking ordinance, we have 2-hour parking on Station Ave.
Hold up, you're gonna let those people park on the street with a permit?
No, I'm saying that we have an overnight parking ordinance, so they wouldn't be
It wouldn't be
permitted
permitted
to
without a
park on the
permit.
street.
They can't park there.
They wouldn't be able to
Yeah, but
park
they
all
can
day
with a permit.
on Station Ave. But they're not gonna be, they would have to go to the police department to request a permit.
It would be subject to the same processes as everybody else in the town.
Okay, well, okay, now assuming that's the case, if I have a parking permit for my property. I'm gonna park near my house. If you're gonna let 19 people park on the street, where are they gonna park, on Station Avenue?
We're not going to let 19 people park on the street.
They can't.
They can't.
It's 2-hour park.
There's going to be one spot for each 1 to 2 bedroom unit, 1.5 for each 3-bedroom unit, which I don't think they plan on putting any in. I believe they already have a lease arrangement negotiated for the additional spots off-site, but I can't speak to that definitively. I know they've been in discussions. And we are not going to give them a redevelopment agreement without them providing proof that they have full parking compliance with this plan.
This is also the borough's plan, so this is, though it's tied specifically right now to this developer, if this developer doesn't develop the building, it's our plan, it's an ordinance overlay.
Yeah.
It's on that, it's what's permitted, but the redevelopment agreement that we would sign with any developer can enforce or enact any other wishes of the borough. So if we wanted the parking to be more stringent, we wanted to,
Or if you want to have the parking be more lax, that's still up to you.
no, you could not lax it with the
No,
ordinance.
Not once this is passed.
That would require variances. Well, they could, but they would have to go for variances. for plan. Thank you, Mr. Cole.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, not seeing any. Have a motion to close the public comment portion.
Phillips, so moved.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips. Have a second? Second by Councilman Herring. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Thank you. There was recommendations from the planning board in regards to the final ordinance. The 2 recommendations, which I believe Kelly circulated just recently. Do you want to read them?
Yeah, I'll read them for the record. The planning board recommended the following. 1, design standard E2 states that a bicycle rack inverted U-shaped color black shall be provided on site. The planning board would recommend that E2 be revised to state that bicycle racks provided on site should be consistent with recommendations made by Borough Council. And I believe that they wanted it to look like the other bicycle racks in town, right?
Correct. I have 3 left. Correct.
You have 3 left, perfect. I think all of council agrees that we want the bicycle racks to match, right?
I would agree.
So we would accept that recommendation from the planning board.
Correct.
Okay, so we're good on the first recommendation. The only other recommendation was that we re-examine the setbacks provided for in the redevelopment plan to be consistent with other existing buildings on White Horse Pike if feasible. And that's something that we did discuss at length with the proposed developer of 501, 503. The issue with the setbacks, it's my understanding that the only other way it would be feasible is if parking was in the front of the building, which I don't believe we had
Any
any interest in. I don't think that's the look that anybody wants for the, gateway of that property, that community. I don't believe that there's any other, they're talking about considering feasibility. We're not aware of any other feasible alternative.
I think the other challenge would be is like we begin to further shrink that lot size for the current proposed building there. You start to lose the accessibility of the building with an elevator and so forth because all of that flexible space starts to go away, right? To make room for apartments, reasonable apartments, right? So that's where we're gonna lose all that space. I think that's a trade-off, but that's the challenge we're faced with.
We can't not have an accessible building in this town, especially a new one.
Right. Especially the demand on senior housing alone and so forth. So, I think that's agreed.
And the ADA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I certainly recognize and understand and appreciate the planning board's request that we reexamine that. I just don't think in terms of feasibility, there is a better or more feasible option.
Any other thoughts? With that, everyone was in agreement with the amendment to the ordinance to to include the bike racks design.
Yes,
And we were rejecting the recommendation for changing the setback.
yes.
All right, so may I now have a request, a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-1537, an ordinance of the Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, adopting a redevelopment plan for certain properties within the Borough of Haddon Heights that have been designated the area in need of redevelopment with the two recommendations. The first being the bike rack as agreed upon by council here and rejecting the setback recommendation.
I say not being able to accept.
Do the,
Do
yeah,
the-
do the
I
feasibility.
mean, I know it's semantics, but
That's all right, you guys are the,
I don't think that we can accept it because of the feasibility.
Right, it's rejected, so we'll do the feasibility.
Correct.
We appreciate their proposal
100%.
and would love to be able to, it's just not feasible.
Yeah, and I just do want to say that I think that the developer has been very good at listening to the input from Historic Preservation Committee. They changed the facade. They have worked with us throughout where they can make the changes. So I know that they've looked at this and they've looked to see whether they can make the changes, and that's why I'm satisfied that it's not feasible. I just wanted to note that.
all right, may I have a motion for final adoption of ordinance 2023-1537. Motion by Councilman Addison, may I have a second?
Second, Phillips.
Second by Councilwoman Phillips, may I have a roll call vote?
Yes, Mayor. Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Addison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Moving into new business, we have resolution 2023-183, a resolution authorizing a shared service agreement with County Department of Public Works for installation and maintenance of solar powered flashing pedestrian crossing walk signs on Prospect Ridge Boulevard and Glenview Avenue. Resolution 2023-184, resolution for the Borough of Haddon Heights to support the submission of applications in conjunction with the Borough of Barrington for a NJDOT Safe Routes to School program application fiscal year 2024, pedestrian safety related to the improvements at the intersections of Highland Avenue, County Road 573, and Kent Road and 2nd Avenue, Highland Avenue, County Road 573, and Chesterfield Road, 3rd Avenue, and Highland Avenue, County Road 573, and 4th Avenue. Resolution 2023-185, a resolution for renewal of membership in the Camden County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 2023-186, resolution to close escrow account for authorized refund of planning board escrow balances. Resolution 2023-187, a resolution authorizing payment of bills and claims for the first half of November. Resolution 2023-188, a resolution providing for meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. 1, a contract matter related to EMS services with Borough of Barrington. 2, contract negotiations with the Police Benevolent Association, Local 328. 3, contract matter released related to energy saving opportunities. And 4, matter related to infrastructure improvements and contracts. Discussions are expected to be a quarter hour each in duration for a total of 1 hour. Formal action may be taken on any of the foregoing items following the executive session. And finally, resolution 2023-189, resolution authorizing the employment of Ben Swaska to the position of fire official for the Borough of Haddon Heights Fire Department. May I have a motion for those resolutions, please? Motion by Councilwoman Herron. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Phillips. May I have a roll call vote?
Yes, Mayor. Councilwoman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Addison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Herron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll now open it up for public comment. That's public comment on anything at all. State your name and address for the record.
The only reason I'm coming in here is you don't call me back.
Fair enough.
I just want to let everybody know that next year is going to be our 120th anniversary birthday. So Haddon Heights Neighbors is planning to do on June 8th, a birthday party on the station avenue, 600 block. So I just wanted to let you know so that we get your support for doing that. So we are hoping to have at least 400 people, which is what we had last time, maybe even more.
For the 100th anniversary, right?
I'm sorry, yes.
So,
Yes, and we have already engaged a 10-piece band, so we expect it to be a really super event.
Sounds great.
Pardon?
Sounds great.
And the other question I have is sounds kind of stupid, but when you say certain people on council are absent with, would you say absent and excused?
But excused, meaning that they have let me know, and, you know, they're just not showing up, that they have let me know in advance of the meeting.
Okay, because I mean, I've been to several council meetings, and I don't know that in the last 3 years I've ever come to a council meeting where all there. So just a comment.
So we've all been here.
For sure. Yeah, it's very rare that that happens.
It's tough because it's the week where all the kids are off from
There
school
are
and people are away,
places like that.
unfortunately for us. We're
Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll go close the public comment portion, we'll recess for executive session.
Okay, was the estimate?
We're definitely on point on the estimate.
We were almost an hour,
Motion,
just about an hour.
motion to come out, Kelly, motion to come out of executive session?
Phillips.
Motion by Councilwoman Phillips, may I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Odison, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Not seeing anything to act on, can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Odison, may I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Harron, all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed or abstained? All right, thank you.